and I talk about three specific topics that really capture my interest. Sometimes they're hot topics, sometimes they're little things, but that's generally what the Streamline podcast is about. My thoughts on whatever. Three topics that I like. But anyways, before we get into this video, guys, be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and that notification button to get the best of what this channel has to offer. We do put up videos weekly. Well, we're trying. We are. I mean, like I said, I work 3 jobs. I'm always busy. But anyways, let's go ahead and just get into the vids. Yes, there's some things that I wanted to talk about. I woke up, wiped my face down, realized I had a wrinkled shirt, and got into it. So, what three topics are we going to be discussing today? We're going to be talking about the live-action Avatar television series, casting their main leads. We're also going to talk about James Gunn, the director that recently did the Suicide Squad, and the possibility of him doing either another Suicide Squad movie or Justice League movie, as well as the final topic being the Marvels casting, and they've begun shooting. So with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and just jump into this now. Avatar: The Last Airbender is one of the most prominent animated series of all, not only due to the fact of the high quality of the childlike nature of the series, but how mature it is, even as it is being that universe. And there are a lot of great animated television shows, but Avatar has become one of the legendary ones. It has hit that status. So we've already had a live action movie done by M. Night Shyamalan, and the movie did not fare too well. There were some things that I thought that it did pretty good, but there's also a lot of missed opportunities. It did feel rushed. The casting became an issue. The movie just did come off as a bit of a mess. And Netflix said that, hey, we're going to do a live action television series. It really sparked the interest in me, because for one thing, look, tell what you want, Netflix movies are shit. They're complete shit. But when it comes to the live action series, some of them are actually really good. I mean, one of my favorite all-time ones that I've watched was The Witcher. I actually really appreciated The Witcher. Castlevania is another one, just to name a few. They do have some really good adaptations of the television series. Wait, did I say live action, then turn around and say the animated one? Yeah, I did do that, but generally speaking, as adaptation of franchise, they did a good job with Castlevania. But as the live action, I will say that we're leaning Witcher, which I really do enjoy. It's been a while since I've actually sat down and watched the Netflix, because of just kind of what is this plan that we utilize with streaming services, where we watch a streaming service for 3 months and then we switch to a different one. It's the best way of actually being able to explore and get the full experience of having a streaming service. But going back to what I was saying, I will say that I did recently see the Resident Evil television series, and I will be doing a video about that. So prepare for that, guys. But anyways, continue on what I was saying. I think it is actually a pretty good idea to have Netflix take this IP and turn it into a television series. It gives it a lot of more time to expand upon the characters. It gives it a lot more time to expand upon the story. It gives it a lot more time to put those nuances in that actually flesh out and create a good and active television show. But this is the thing that I wanted to talk about, and it was actually the casting, the 4 leads that they have for the main cast. And honestly, I don't know who the hell any of these people are. I really don't know who the hell any of these people are. But looking at the picture, I can actually say that I admit they actually do feel like this would be a pretty good cast. I'm not the type of person that says a character has to look like the actor has to look like the character. I mean, that's what makeup stuff is for. I'm a bit more loose with stuff like that. So I will say that truly looking at these people, they do actually look like they would fit the characters just by their physical appearance alone. The kid actually looks like he could be a good Aang. Um, but these are the names, and I don't want to butcher these guys' names, which I'm just going to have to do it because I'm trying to get some context on what I was saying. Gordon Cormier is going to play Aang. Kia Wintio is going to play Katara. In Oosley will play Sokka, and Dallas Liu is going to play Zuko. I don't know any of these cats, but I can say that they actually do look like them. Although the dude that in Oosley does remind me of the guy from Twilight, Jacob. He does look like him a little bit. But I will say that I am pleased with how these people look. They do look more fit into the role than they did in the live action movie. But anyways, I think it's a good idea. I like the fact that Netflix picking up his IP and giving it another shot. There's not much more else I can say about it, except I do like the way the cast do look. They look like the actual characters. But there is a lot that is going to be riding on this because eyes are going to be on it. I'm not really the biggest Avatar fan. I haven't actually sat down and watched all of the episodes, but I have watched enough of the series to actually know who these characters are, their developing arcs, the major storylines. So I'm interested to see how they're going to pull this off in this series as well. And I've been getting into this whole thing where like series should be a bit shorter, maybe 6 to like 10 episodes. But I'm like, with the Avatar series, are they going to try to do this each book being a different season? Or are they going to try to wrap everything up in like 22 episodes or something like that? I'm interested to see where they're going to go with it on that point. Now, moving on to the next subject, Mr. James Gunn. Mr. James Gunn has been making a lot of headway in the news because of the success he has had with the Suicide Squad that dropped this year. I haven't seen it yet. I've been meaning to go. In fact, I'm going next week to go see this movie because, one, I like the DCEU. Two, I like the Suicide Squad, so I want to see where they're going to go with the Suicide Squad. But James Gunn isn't just in the news for that. The possibility of him making more projects in the future for DC has been brought up a lot lately. One of them being a possible Justice League movie, a possible Justice League versus Suicide Squad movie, Superman movie, and I just want to go ahead and just get my thoughts on that. First of all, he has had his hand in a couple of movies that I've actually really movie in 2002. Didn't really like that movie, although I will say I did like the focus of the characters, how they weren't just sunk into the same roles that they typically would have been in like the shows. So it was more focused on the characters, and I really did like that. Which I can actually see that he has a really good focus on a pretty big cast and everything. He was a writer in Dawn of the Dead remake, really enjoyed that. Scooby-Doo 2, really enjoyed that. Slither, really enjoyed that. Super was surprised with that movie. That was a really good movie. Guardians of the Galaxy, enjoyed that movie. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, enjoyed that movie. He had his hand in Brightburn, really enjoyed that movie as well. So he's since he moved over into the superhero comic book movie genre, he's done pretty good so far in my eyes. He's done more movies than that, but a lot of the movies that I've seen so far that's on this list either had pretty big, not big cast, but they had some characters. They had a decent sized cast and a good focus on different characters, as well as them being humorous in a lot of aspects. Scooby-Doo 2 had some humor to it. Slither, horror, had comedy to it. Super weird movie, but it had its moments where it was pretty funny too. Guardians of the Galaxy, of course. So where are my thoughts about him and the Justice League movie? Well, honestly, I would have preferred Justice League have a sequel, rather than the Suicide Squad. And even now, when the Suicide Squad is out, I would still want, if he is going to do a Justice League movie, I don't want him to do a Suicide Squad versus Justice League movie. I would want him to do a continuation of what Zack Snyder did with the Snyder Cut, because all of the characters are so far already developed. Now, the thought process from what I had gathered on what he had said about Justice League is potentially he took characters in the Suicide Squad that were a bit obscure and gave them the spotlight, be able to flesh them out, kind of do a bit more creativity with characters that weren't so prominent. So he had a bit of leeway with these characters. And that's a bit different with the Justice League because they are established. This is how these characters are. These are how these characters act. This is what their backstory is. So I could see that the tone would, because when you watch movies, of course, and there's different directors, the movies have different tones, and you can see a lot of that with the DCEU. You have some movies that are darker, you have some movies that are a bit lighthearted with more comedic to it, and sometimes they don't exactly feel like they're sharing the same universe. Like, honestly, Harley Quinn, the Birds of Prey and the Emancipation of One Harley Quinn does feel different than Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad feels different than Shazam, but I haven't said that, since if he is able to be a good enough director to focus on different characters, flesh out these characters, do a good job with the story. Would I want comedy in the Justice League film? Yes, because even with the Snyder Cut, there was some humorous moments here and there, but it wasn't as funny as like the Joss Whedon cut. So it did maintain that dark tone that I've actually really enjoyed from the DCE. I'm all for it. I mean, look at Brightburn. Brightburn is not a funny movie. That is a horror movie. It's dark. You know what I'm saying? It's very grim, and I would love to see that if he were to continue pick up the Justice League and continue on with the story of it. Also, as far as Justice League versus Suicide Squad, maybe before Superman came back, then I would have been like all for it. But since Superman is back, not really. And my thing is with the JL versus Suicide Squad is, and somebody else has said this too, and I completely agree with them. Almost every character from the Justice League can just beat almost every character. Just one of the characters from the Justice League can beat almost all the characters from the Suicide Squad. There's no Suicide Squad. Well, I'm not going to say there's no Suicide Squad, because there are some very powerful members that do eventually come into it. Because, the Suicide Squad is a revolving and Deadshot are some of the more prominent ones that you do see more often than not. King Shark being one of them as well. Killer Frost, I believe, but I'm going by the animated movies with that one. But typically Harley Quinn, Captain Boomerang, and Deadshot. But if you look at like the rest of these characters, I don't really see them being able to like fight any of the Justice League members. But if they were to get some better characters or more powerful characters, I would be like, okay, maybe. But that'd be something I would say be further down the line, not just picked up now after the Suicide Squad. Maybe after the next Justice League movie, which I hope isn't going to take 10 years to make. Give me my Justice League in like another 2 or 3 years. I'll be got all of these movies and stuff they're going to be putting out. There's no reason not to have it. And now that I think about it, there is another Justice League movie. Will Shazam be a part of it? And will Green Lantern be part of it? So there is that as well. But from what I've seen of James Gunn and what he's done, I hope he does continue to work with you. I hope he does make another movie, maybe another movie or two for them, because I think the man does have talent. He does have a good focus on characters, and I like that about him. Now to the third topic, we're going to be talking about The Marvels. Captain Marvel's sequel, The Marvels, has begun shooting, and I'm like, okay, cool. Now, I like Brie Larson. I like Brie Larson, despite the fact that she said quite a few stupid, some stupid stuff over the years. And I'm one of those people. Yeah, I like your politics, but I'm not going to take it out on your profession. She's actually a good actress. She's done some really good movies, and I've really enjoyed it. And even with the Captain Marvel movie, it's not the best MCU movie, and I'm not going to let her politics destroy what I've seen with that movie. Like I said, it's not the best movie. It's a decent movie. It's a good 3 out of 5 for me. But, I wasn't really interested in, because of how the movie came out in the story and stuff, and it just being at 3 out of 5 ish. I wasn't really interested in seeing a sequel, and this is me saying it because I like sequels. I like seeing people expand, and even with her character, if she goes on this developing arc, which I felt like it wasn't a strong developing arc in that film. If this was something to help her develop a bit more as a character, I'm all totally fine with it. I mean, you're talking to a person that likes Underworld. Celine has barely a developing arc in the first film, but by the second film, she becomes more emotionally, just more emotional. She becomes a bit more human, brings out the humanity in her character a little bit more, gives her a bit more personality, rather than the age due to what happens in that film. So I'm a bit more with the Captain Marvel as well. Now, these are the things about the film that I'm like, okay, let's see where we're going to go with it. We're in the Marvels, which is Captain Marvel 2. I mean, I would have liked it to be Captain Marvel 2 and Captain Marvel and the Marvels. I would have liked kind of like that, kind of like Ant-Man and the Wasp. But they just said the Marvels, which I don't like that title. It sounds pretty stupid, bland, and not really interesting in the least bit. Now, having said that, these are the two things that are going to make or break this movie. I think even if this was just a Captain Marvel movie, I think it kind of could stand up on its own. But this movie will also involve Monica Rambeau. I don't know how to say Rambeau. I don't know how to say her name. And Kamala Khan. Now, who don't know these two characters, Monica Rambeau, she's Mariah Rambeau's daughter from the Captain Marvel movie, and then she becomes Solar, I believe. I believe that's the character's name in the comics, Solar, and she ends up getting the ability to like absorb energy and shoot energy blasts and stuff like that. She's a pretty cool character, at least in the comics from what I've read. Haven't read a lot on her, but she makes her feature appearance in Captain Marvel, and she's more prominent in the WandaVision, which I haven't seen it yet. So I'm interested to see her be a bit more fleshed out in this movie. Again, I could see more. I could watch WandaVision and get a bit more perspective of a character, but I want to see her on the big screen because I think she is an interesting character, and she was one of the characters I was actually looking forward to seeing on the big screen. Kamala Khan is this new age millennial type character, along with the Miles Morales, along with the Chinese Hulk, along with the Nova Force, the young kid Nova Force, just new generation that they've been trying to push out for years. And Kamala Khan has met with not really a lot of success in the comics, nor really any other IP that they've really had. I mean, she was the main focus in the Avengers game, and it completely turned a lot of people off. And I can honestly see that, because she doesn't feel like a character that has naturally been grown into the Marvel universe. Now, she does have a series called Ms. Marvel that's going to be coming out on Disney Plus, and this movie is supposed to be an extension and continuation of that. So hopefully that series does a good job of fleshing out the character before the movie does. And she has a pretty cool ability of shape-shifting. She can grow and expand her limbs and stuff like that, which I'm not against. I think it's actually, from what I've seen, is pretty cool. But what am I hoping to see in this film? Because like I said, they're shooting, and I think the movie's supposed to be set to go next year, and I hope that they do it. I'm interested. I want to see story. I want to see good characters. Like I said, I want Captain Marvel to be a bit more fleshed out this time as a character. I want to have not just be this completely hard character. Now, is this trying to be this feminist, you know, this creme de la creme of feminism and everything? I'm a bit worried about that. I got a little bit of it in Captain Marvel, but not enough to where it just completely broke. It wasn't completely just left field for me. It felt balanced. Because there were male characters that were competent, there were more female characters that were competent, and I thought the message of female empowerment was okay, but not too overbearing. And I'm a little bit worried about it in this film. Why? Because there's 3 main female characters and there's a female villain, and a lot of times that doesn't come off good because it's when you have nothing but female superheroes and nothing but female villains. It's typically portrayed that the men are incompetent, they're stupid, they lack intelligence, they lack competency, and I'm worried about that. But this does have the potential to be a good sequel to flesh out some pretty obscure characters, and I hope that it is going to work. But having said that right there really are pretty much my thoughts on where we're going to be going on these 3 subjects. Guys, in the comment section below, let me know what are your thoughts about the live action Avatar, the Last Airbender series that's going to be developed by Netflix. James Gunn possibly doing either another Suicide Squad movie, Justice League movie, or Justice League versus Suicide Squad movie. And also, what are your thoughts about the Captain Marvel sequel, The Marvels? Alright then. I've already said about the comment section below, but hit that like, share, subscribe, and the notification button to get the best of what we got going on the channel, guys. We'll definitely catch you guys later.